Joining us again in the studio is John Edward. He is an educationist and also an instructor in a private school. We just had, the opinion, or let me say, we just had it from the government side of education, and now we are going to the private sector of education in Nigeria. Welcome, John Edward.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, it is good to be here. This is the second time I'm having you, so it is good to be here. And what would you say? Let's start with some of the challenges the private education sector is facing.
Okay, I think one of the first challenges that the private sector in the aspect of education is facing is number one, shortage of professional and qualified teachers. Especially we have people who they are truly inspired to teach, but then they don't have the qualification. And then you know how private sector runs. Since they are looking for more labor and they want to fill in the gaps, then they will just absorb an individual to the system, but then fail to train him. And that's why most times when people from the government sector are coming, that's when they start rushing to say you have to go for this course, go and get this PGD in education, because when the government people come around, they want to see the qualifications of their teachers if they are truly trained to teach in the private sector. So that's one. And then two, let's say probably some facilities. Some private schools actually lack some facilities, like the social amenities, like the technology that the educational sector needs in the 21st century. They don't have computers, and probably they don't have the computer lab. They don't have the standardized library where students can go and access quality information. So these are some of the problems and challenges that we are facing.
Wow, that's quite daunting. But then, what would you say the same setup in the private sector is doing to address, what are the efforts they are making to address these challenges you just
the private sector, they are taking some bold steps. Especially, I would like to commend some private sectors in Lagos. In fact, when it comes to education, Lagos is always number one. Go and check previous WAEC results, and then JAM. You can, when they call first, second, third, JAM. Usually. You should be within around the West Ogun State, Lagos. Yeah, they're not actually trying, but then we have a long way to go as them in the northern side of the education. So they're actually putting some input to ensure that we overcome these challenges. Like some private school owners, they are, in fact, for those who have the passion, because let me say this, I know I'm on air, some private owners are just going there for the money. I was privileged to listen to our mommy, the first speaker. In fact, I wish I'm privileged to speak with her on air. But then she says some things that are really touching. Some private schools is just, education is two-sided. People who are motivated and inspired to go for like impacting lives, while some they're just going there for the money. So when you go there for the money, you don't care about how the structure is being set. You don't care about the people. You just, we'll give them, we'll double up in WAEC, in NECO, and they pass. You don't care about how they pass and all of that. You are just after your money.
Just focusing on the money alone.
So these are things that the private sectors they need to look into. But then we hope that things will change. But some private sectors, like where I'm currently working, I won't mention it because I'm on air. So
yes, you may not.
You'll pay for it.
But then where I'm coming from, I would say the owner, because the idea, I studied the trend of schools. School owners are mostly females, and I asked myself why. And someone said maybe because mothers or women, they have patience with children. And we can start from there. Men, we don't really pay attention to children. We are not patient with them. But then mothers can take time. A child can do something over and over, and they are actually there to pay attention to that child. And that's why most times check the trend of schools. Most school providers, most school owners are women. And they are really doing the job well.
That's true.
So where I'm actually coming from is the person or the owner is she has passion for education. I think he's coming from a passion aspect, not just for the money aspect or for the profit aspect. So if all school owners will have that kind of motivation, then our education system in Nigeria will go a long way. Sometimes in fact every midterm time we go for training online, maybe they can invite in the instructor can come from within Lagos, sometimes outside Lagos, just to train staff
in the physical
in the
setup.
in the physical sector. Sometimes they should do give an incentive to encourage the teachers. Yesterday was our Teachers' Day, and then the Teacher of the Day went with 1 million naira.
Wow.
That's
1 million naira. Then the first
That's encouraging.
Really?
Then the second person went with 500,000. The third 250,000. And this has been for years, because she has set that track record that I'm going to encourage them. Not apart from the award system, there is another general award for every staff.
Just to motivate and encourage and appreciate
that
teachers.
we notice what you are doing, and then we appreciate you. And she's people don't talk outside of her. Like you can't be behind and you're saying something negative. Most times people say good things about her. So it's this person.
She's truly a teacher.
Yes, it's good to hear that.
It's the person. That's the personality, because she has that passion. Whereas we have school owners that paid just like what mom.
Yes, 10,000 even less.
Even less. And then they go home. The owners, you see them riding and you see
living big,
living the very luxurious life. But then your people who are supposed to be your model, you are happy seeing their progress, and then they are struggling. So these are some of the factors.
Okay, then let's talk about the workload. You know, she mentioned something about how private sectors have more work and less payment.
Interesting. I will not deny that factor. Even though I just stated that with 1 million, what we do sometimes is demanding. All my life I stayed in the north, and sometimes you wake up around 7, you do some touches, and then by 8 you're in school. But in a station where in Lagos you have to wake up by 5 sometimes even earlier.
If there's not.
Yeah, so to catch up with your duty by 7 you must be in that school environment. That's one. So the time is
more challenging.
Is challenging, and the workload is actually tough. It's hard. It's very tedious. But then I think that's one of the ways that's one of the ways she's using to encourage her staff, because she actually knows that it's quite demanding.
Yeah, she understands that.
Yeah, she understands that it's quite demanding. But then she's also creating a means. Recently she did something that probably that will be the first time seeing a private school doing something.
Doing
like
such a thing.
Yeah. First, we have 1 day off.
Wow.
So normally before we have to use it from Monday to Friday, but you have a staff is entitled
a day off during the week, during the 5 working days, not as outside of the weekend.
Automatically you're working 4 days a week.
Wow, that's great.
So just to relieve us of, it's demanding. I don't want to start mentioning it, but the work is demanding. I know it comes with a bit of financial reward, but then if we want to like equate the two, you cannot really balance your work.
Yeah. Apart from that, what about those schools who put such workload on their teachers, and there's nothing at all?
Yeah.
So I mean, so this one is quite encouraging. Yes.
In fact, she was like, the idea came like 2 years ago, but the board of management,
the school board, management,
she's the owner of it, but she
yes.
But the manager was like, no, it won't work. So she like, okay. But when the economic situation of the country
got to be
1 month or 2 months ago, when fuel stuff and all of that, so the manager have to understand, these people need.
There's need to
go back
take
to
it
the
up.
drawing board and let's see how we can put this in play. And thank God it's working now.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, there's something I read. Some countries, they make sure they take their teachers under, therapy sessions for them to know and to be sure that they are sound, because whatever it is that is in your mind or head, it is possible that you put it because you are there to impact.
Yes.
And sometimes the patience level too. You talked about being patient as a teacher.
Generally.
So what do we do actually in our own space now to say we want to help our teachers psychologically?
Yeah, I think psychologically help of teachers, most times we do have trainings. Like emotional intelligence to help teachers, especially those teachers who are facing challenges with students. They don't know how to interact, they don't know how to bond with teachers, with the learners. So there are times that we go on trainings that will help them to connect and connect with that hostile environment or that hostile atmosphere at that moment. So there are other many things that we do to ensure that we put this in place. Yeah.
It is actually very funny how Well, there was a time I was teaching my younger ones, and my dad looked at me and told me, "You can't be a teacher." Because to be honest, when I tell you do this thing, I expect the next time I'm coming to you, you're done with it. You know how to even do it, you know. And when I come back to it and I notice that you didn't even know how to do it, I'm like, I just taught you this thing right now. How can you not know it? Like, I don't really, no matter how much of patience I have when it comes to teaching, I really find it difficult, you know, relating to the fact that I just taught you now and you're telling me you don't know. So how do teachers really actually cope with all these things? And it is not just one person you're dealing with, so many children.
And do you know, Tante, what you're saying is why teachers should be appreciated. I'm telling you. They do a whole lot of hard work. And then let me quickly use this opportunity and say this. You know, those who even now teach physically challenged children, I cannot even imagine what those ones are going through. And I doubt if they have the kind of package, you know, that the other teachers, the regular teachers are even having. So I want to put it out in the public space there that please, whoever is there watching us on this program, and you can do something about encouraging teachers, please go ahead and do it. You see, because Mr. Edward is just telling us about somebody who has been doing so much, you know, pumping money to encourage teachers and all that. When you do that, there is a special blessing for you. Because the work these people do, just hear Tante telling us now that she's not sure. I doubt if I can be a teacher myself.
My cousin
I'm not sure I have the patience.
My cousin was like, one time she was like, you guys are doing a good job. That cannot be.
So we need everybody out there, to support and encourage teachers. Because without the teacher, I mean, that means that knowledge is not discharged, it's not dissipated, it's not shared. You know, they are doing a great work. Really.
Of course, they are doing a great work. We've talked about teachers. Yes, they are. You know, they are our future. They are.
And we even said something the other time about being celebrated. Please, let's always celebrate teachers.
Let's always celebrate.
Let it not even just be once in a year. Let's celebrate them every day because they teach every day.
And that is why I asked, you know, are we feeling that? Because I can remember there was a time teachers were saying they are not feeling appreciated or celebrated enough.
I think for me, you know, society perspective is another thing we need to look into.
Okay.
There is there's that notion or that mindset, and I think it has been sold very wrongly for many years, that teachers are just there, so we don't need to really appreciate them, especially the in quotes the profession teaching. One of my boss I worked with before, he's one in the US. He said something that if a parent can come to a doctor just to see the doctor, now this is not I want to check your body just for consultation. Let's talk. It's not for free. She has to charge over
consultation fee.
You charge over 100 depending on the organization structure. But then if a parent is coming, that's his own policy now. He said if a parent is coming to discuss anything
issues concerning his child with the teacher,
you must have to see him with the particular like you have to come with that mindset too. You're coming to pay before we now discuss, okay, what's the challenge your child is facing, okay, you can't study chemistry, you can because we are all the same.
Yes, you're offering sensitive professional services. So if a doctor can charge for consultation,
you're not saying they should charge us
you know
the medical aspect, but then
something to that you just place value on them, that you don't just come and get scratch on them.
Information is not free.
Absolutely.
We live in a world that even data now that is okay. You can access any information. You need
data to do that, and you buy data with money.
So was it many years ago popular saying that said if you think education is expensive.
Try ignorance. Absolutely. It's still there.
So it's still there.
It costs you a life, actually.
So that mindset has been in existence for many years.
I agree with you.
So if you look at a teacher, is a teacher. In the first, even the learners. And that is why I love the environment I found myself. They ask us, please, we know they pay for some of the clothes you wear, so they expect you to dress
properly.
Yes, what you communicate to these children, they look at you completely. Sometimes you may not have the money to go to ShopRite to buy, but once in a while,
at least,
do you know that you are likely to see one of your students, and if they says, Miss Edu, you're here,
and they're proud to be able to relate with you, yes.
Do you know?
Relate you.
Let me say this because I'm on air. After our first what's it called, the Independence program. I said, okay, let me share with them. So I played it on YouTube, and they saw it. And they're like, wow!
They're excited.
And one child came to me, I'll never forget it. He came and said, Mr. Edward, who are you outside the house? Outside the wall. And I smiled. I said, wow, that's... So when they look at you excelling in other sectors, they know,
do something.
You know, this person is not just an ordinary person.
Yes.
So if the society can give that perspective to if you can receive that perspective as teachers.
Yes, and look at them from a new
viewpoint, then people can start paying value.
Yes, placing more value on them.
I need to, don't just go call him anytime.
I think I can see him anytime. You know?
And people will start paying attention and they're valuing teachers and all over the site.
That's a very nice one.
Yeah.
Of course, it is actually very nice to know that somebody is out there looking at you as someone who can inspire him or her.
Yes.
You know, your students coming to you to say, who are you? To be honest, you wouldn't know.
Wow.
You wouldn't know how the person takes you. You wouldn't know. There are young people who will just see me and say, I want to be like you when I grow up. In my mind, I'm like, please don't be like me. You know, there are some struggles and some things that people go through that people don't really see.
Yeah.
So when you say you want to be like people, sometimes they get scared. Are you sure you want to really be like me?
Because I know things in those places which you cannot see.
Yes, but the good thing is that we are doing something positive for someone to say he wants to be like us.
Yes.
You know, so it is good that we are all teachers actually. There's someone who is somewhere sitting down watching me and getting informed about something. So we appreciate ourselves as teachers.
Absolutely.
I appreciate myself as a teacher. Thank you, Edward, for coming on the show. And this is all we have with you. We appreciate you. We hope
to host you again sometime very soon on any other important topic.
Thank you very much. Viewers will be taking a short break. We'll be right back.
Teachers are central actors in the learning processes that takes place in schools and are powerful tools for improving quality of education through effective classroom experiences. It is believed that motivated teachers complete his or her tasks set up, even if the task is difficult or doesn't seem attractive. Speaking with Alive News, in Lagos, citizens have said that teachers should be celebrated well enough as they are people who instill morals, values, and knowledge in students.
I think we are still not where we ought to be, but we're already out of Egypt on our way to the promised land. Even though we must say that a lot still needs to be desired in terms of teachers' welfare and the appointment of more teachers into the profession. Because one of the major issues that we have within the education sector in Nigeria as of today is this acute shortage of teachers. Because it has been discovered of recent that so many teachers have now joined the Japa train, who are now going to UK and whatever. Those are travel, those are retire. Government is not employing enough to replace all those lost personnel. And that has led to this acute shortage of teachers that is acting as an encumbrance on those that are still remaining within the service. And that is why we use the theme for this year's Teachers' Day to be the teacher we need for the education that we want, because we have discovered that there's an acute shortage of teachers presently within the education sector in the Nigerian geopolitical space.
Yeah, well, Lagos State, they are really trying. They have a lot of programs for us, even including our health plan. They have a lot of programs and they are still doing more. It can be better, but for now, I think Lagos State is trying for teachers.
Weight of the teachers should be more important. The reason being that those, for someone to be a lawyer, doctor, even to be the governor, is someone that trained that particular person. And what are those returns giving back to those people? Nothing. Most of them are not being able to get that pension on time. Some of them are not able to do some other thing. All what they do is that they come to the class, teach, and that's all.
Well, I don't want to use the word important. It may be considered important and yet not implemented, or maybe one thing or the other still stopping the implementation. So I don't want to judge that it's not important, but I think the welfare of teachers should be paramount.
They should be celebrated more. They should be celebrated more. For instance, apart from giving us that holiday, giving us a break from service, there are things they should teach out to teachers all over, everywhere, so that they can feel, considering other professions, the way they treat them. All I know is teacher deserves more.
Teachers should be valued in this way, as we heard from other countries. Teachers are more celebrated more than this way, and they consider them first in all things. Talk of general welfare, the salary, and every other thing. So they consider them to be important personnel in the community that contribute to the welfare or the growth of the country.
They added that teachers determine the level of education system in the country. Lydia Ajayi, Alive News, Lagos.
On Alive TV.
Taking a look at events in Nigeria. And now the news in detail.
Look at the number of people he has built.
He has the capacity. And today, a historical reoccurrence is taking place right here in Jos.
You need to be involved in the voting process. Your vote counts.
Government, in spite of its lean resources, is running a welfare program for the most vulnerable in our country. We've never had that before. Welcome back. Nigeria should be competing with countries like
I am Kanti Ada.
Alive News, keeping it fresh.
Hi, welcome back. You're still watching Alive this morning. And the Ogun State, we'll be going straight to some stories that are trending right now. And the Ogun State Police Command has arrested a 30-year-old man, Ayobami Oyeleye, for cutting off his mother's hands with a machete. Oyeleye reportedly attacked his 65-year-old mother, Esther, on Tuesday over an unknown argument in Akibo village, the Obafemi Owodo local government area of the state. A noise emanating from the victim's house in the night forced neighbors to storm out of their houses to find out what was happening. The neighbors, on getting to the house, found Esther lying in a pool of blood with her left and right hands cut off and a deep stab on her head. Oyeleye was also found by his mother's side, holding a sharp cutlass. Well, the state police public relations officer, Omolola Odutola, has confirmed the incident and also says that investigation is ongoing. What would actually have happened that will guarantee or that will give this guy the guts to cut off his mother's hands?
Honestly, Tante, I'm just, I don't know. I am trying to just imagine that scenario, and I'm disturbed. I won't lie to you. I'm
okay, as you are being disturbed, try and get yourself back.
Yes. I mean, it's ridiculous. You cut off your mom's 2 hands, the hands that she used
to hold
carry you as a baby and nurture you to adulthood. I mean, what could have brought about that? I can't imagine.
There's nothing. I don't feel there's anything there's nothing.
I just don't understand.
That can actually except if the person is already a mean.
Maybe I hope he has not actually run mad or something. Maybe they need to check. If he has been arrested, I think they should go and the first thing they should do is to go and check his brain. Yes, I'm serious. I think the guy is okay.
You mentioned this. Now I'm going back to before we came back on this break. Can you remember, from the NCR, someone was talking about how a lady jumped off, from a 15-story building. So you would definitely know, and he was like, people are actually very depressed.
Generally speaking.
Some people just take a very drastic action
about the situation.
About their situation. No matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, there's a way out. Do you know, sometimes we all are like that. Do you know that sometimes we'll just sit down and you just feel you're in your darkest moments?
Yeah.
But do you know, how I come out of this thing is that I sit down and tell myself, I have seen this type of moment, because it keeps coming and going. I have seen this type of moment. I went through it. I am not there anymore. This is another one. I know that I will face it and I'll come out of it
just
successfully.
The way you came out of it.
Just the way I came out of so many previous ones.
That is it.
So sometimes, I don't know, people have, when we talk about mental health, people say there are people who have less will to take, or less
resistance to
the
impact of
whatever they are facing, their situation.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just feel like whatever it is, please, let's not just take too much drastic measures, like too much drastic action towards whatever we are going through. I can remember a young lady, a pastor's daughter back in Jos, that, there was a time her father cautioned her about something, and she told her parents that if they did that again, she was going to kill herself. And it was just like a joke. One day we stayed, and the next thing we heard that she had committed what she said she was going to do.
Oh my God.
She went to the dam. She prayed. They even said it, that somebody saw her, that she knelt down, she was praying. And they were thinking, actually, she just came, the riverside, people come to do so many things.
Yeah.
They didn't really know what she was there for. The next thing they saw, she jumped into it.
Into the river.
Yes, they looked for her for a while in the house, and they didn't know where she was coming from. Then they went searching all over. When they went to the dam, I think after some days, they now heard that someone jumped.
A corpse had floated back or something.
So that was how they checked, and they knew that was the girl, and the story came out. You can't tell me that your parents who are your parents will caution you and tell you, will try to correct you, and you will say you want to go and commit suicide. It is wrong, and it is even a punishable offense.
Yes,
and God is, you can't even tell me, why would you go and tell God, okay, because I faced this thing and I couldn't take it and I killed myself. You hear students failing WAEC because they failed WAEC once.
They jump into the
jump, or they drink sniper. Do you know there are people I know that have spent 12 years trying to do one thing, and you just did it once. You hear them, they're just 17-year-old, and most of these young people committing all these things, go and check their age.
They are very
17,
young, still very young.
18,
15,
19. I get scared. Why? What are you actually thinking? What was going through your head?
In fact, let me quickly come in and give you this story of one young man who sat for JAMB 7 times, and eventually he got through, and today the guy is a success story. I may not be able to give you more details, but I'm telling you, just like Tante is telling you, you don't need to do something drastic or terrible to yourself just because you are facing some situations. you need to take it easy. You need to calm down.
So this takes us back actually to our story. We wouldn't know exactly what really happened, but what we are saying is, no matter what is actually happening in your life, you shouldn't. Your mother is your mother.
Yes,
no matter how terrible. Of course, we know that there are some terrible mothers, but you can't just take the action by yourself. And we are Nigerians. We are in the world. We are in a place where
we give a lot
people just give verdicts by themselves. They just give judgments. If they say it has come to a stand. You can't just do things because you feel that is the right thing to do at that time. You killed someone, it is an offense. Why would you even, cutting your mom's hands?
Two hands.
Yes, he did that and actually gave her a stab on the head, and I'm very sure he probably wanted to kill her.
Yes.
But the neighbors came to because they heard a noise, they heard her shouting. That was how they now came, they rushed, and then they saw this thing happening, which is really, really wrong. We are not supposed to do that. We know that people are struggling with mental health. We know that people are trust me, you will see somebody happy. In fact, if you see somebody portraying too much happiness, those are the people that you have to even check carefully, because those people try to cover up whatever sadness
that they
have inside them. Yeah,
by just portraying that they are happy or
the
something.
Smiles, and sometimes I actually don't know how to even fake the smile, because sometimes fake smiles give you wrinkles. So I don't even know how to even fake it. So that is why it is also good to give room to, when you are hurt, say it.
Yes.
Be open. And we are not saying you should be too open.
Don't get bottled up and all.
Don't bottle up your issues. The day this bottle is going to break, trust me, a lot of things will be destroyed. So whenever you are going through some things, I am not a therapist actually, but I know that there are some things I do to help myself. So if you are going through some things, just make sure you know that it is not you to take decision.
And more about that is going to
have you even prayed to God
about it?
Has He given you? Is it God that said, "Go and cut your mom's hands for whatever thing she has done to you"? So you have to ask for the leading of the Holy Spirit. You have to know that there are some things, and apart from that, as a citizen of the country, are you thinking that you will do this thing and you just get away with it? Don't be like that. Of course, the police are investigating.
Of course, I'm sure the guy must have been arrested now. So even if you're not looking at it from the spiritual point of view that you were mentioning now, at least every sensible citizen of Nigeria should know that there are laws, there are legal frameworks to deal with such criminal acts. So that alone should be enough to deter people from doing dastardly things like that.
And do you know, now we have courts that you can go and settle disputes.
Yes.
Like parents can come, couples can come, people come, talk to these people, they prefer solutions to them. So why is it that you can't just, when things go out of hand,
report your issues, yes.
Why won't you report
the police station is there. If your mom had offended, you could have gone to report her at the police station.
Yes, even if it's not the police station, you can actually go to the court or just go to it. In fact,
some elders in the community
we need to sensitize people about therapy. We need people to go into therapy. People need to go and check themselves. People feel, I can't meet Fafi Ebi and tell him my problems because he's going to definitely use it against me. Which is okay. People do that a lot these days. And that is why some people have, seen it like it's a no-no for them to go confide in people.
Confide in others.
But there are professionals and there are rules guiding that profession, which you cannot, or the person can't actually go and discuss your case with other people. Besides, these professionals, it is possible that they don't even know you don't even know them.
Absolutely.
After your case, even if they say it to someone, I don't think it has to do with because the
confidentiality clause is there. So information is protected.
We need to sensitize people on how to get help for themselves, so that we don't see how, because you are fighting with your partner, you go to the lagoon. Because you are fighting with this, you just want to go and kill yourself. Please, let's just stop it. It is a no-no. It is a no-no. Don't kill yourself.
I agree with you.
About anything and anyone.
And then let me quickly say this. Do you know, sometimes, Tante, I've observed this particular point I want to mentioned. At times, we can actually touch people's lives who are at the edge of the cliff before they jump off it, okay? And that is by sometimes seeing through what people are going through. Sometimes, some people have needs sometimes. And then you don't need to wait until they come and ask you. Sometimes you can go overboard and just stretch your hands to them. Maybe that person is in need of something at that time and is not able to ask anybody. Or maybe he has asked some people, they said no to him, and you are sensitive enough, you just stretch your hand to the person, it might save that person's life. Okay. So we need to be more sensitive to people's needs. That's just all I'm saying.
Of course, we need to be sensitive to people's needs. And on our next story, the Ile-Epo Oke-Odo market sellers have pleaded with the Lagos State government to help reopen the closed market. Recall that the market, alongside other markets, were closed due to several environmental offenses, including reckless waste disposal, unclean premises, and non-payment of waste bills. But then the market sellers are saying that what they are selling is perishable, that their things or their goods are perishing already, that the government, they are pleading on the government to reopen the market, and they are promising that they are going to keep to what the government is demanding of them. Let's see what the people have to say from the market. Markets are gotten from loans, and the closure of the market will put them in so much debt and problems.
It's much. You can see many people are strolling up and down now, both men and women. So the government should do something, because many of us here, some lend the money from microfinance. Then they are paying every day to make up the money they borrowed, you see. But now there's no way to pay the money back. Even the children at home, when you get to your home now, what can you tell your child? So all these are really affecting us. We are really in pain now. Check from now, about 7 days now. No, nobody have done anything here. Nothing. And this end of the month now. Month has ended already. NEPA bill is there now. Crazy bill. Like as I'm starting now, 417,000 naira. Now they bring for me. How can I make it? About 4 flats. We only 4 in flat. You see? 417,000. How much is my income? How much am I earning? The school fees is there. House rent is there. Government should look into these things.
I'm begging governor. I'm begging 5 governor. I'm begging commissioner for health. And I'm begging the people that is in charge. Kai and so many people that are in charge of all this environmental stuff. They should please come over. They should come and do the right thing. It's not our own, because most of these people you are talking about is in the evening they come. By the time we are closing around 7, that's when they are coming to come and start selling. In the morning, they used to start selling around 3 o'clock. And by 8 o'clock in the morning, they will leave that place. Please help us beg governor.
They said that we are owing because of the Loma are the people that close it, that we are owing. If we owe and you come around to pick, we can pay, but not after paying. I think the essence of closure is to pay, of which they can raise the money within a day or 2. It's now getting to 9 days. So, and is closure of the market the palliative Lagos State government is going to give us?
Because this market now is a very big market, and it's known for perishable goods like all these tomatoes, pepper, and fresh fish and other things. So, and all these things, they are bringing it from north, and since then they haven't been seen a way to sell it. All these aboki that are selling the tomatoes is getting spoiled, and many things is affecting even people that are buying, because people are coming from far place to buy tomatoes, pepper, and some other things, and when they get here, then we see that the market is short, so they will just be stranded. So it's very, very, it's very bad. It's very bad. The situation now is very bad at Ile-Epo market.
Well, the market people are saying it. The government has its own rule. You were supposed to follow. paying your tax, paying your bills, paying your waste bill, but you said no. And now that the government has taken decision, you are coming back to say the government should reopen. Your goods are wasting. Well, this sounds like, as a wake-up call or a reset to all market people. But someone mentioned something about the waste. She said there are people who come in the evening after they are done with their work. They will pack up everything and they will close up, and those people start their market
to use their space.
So in the morning, you will see everywhere littered, and it's not their fault. You get, it's not their fault.
So they assume that they are the ones that
yes, because if they come and check it, these people will come inspecting in the morning, and they will see this thing. They will think the people who did it,
the owners of the stores.
But still, what they are saying is, if you come as an owner of a shop, if you see the place dirty, you definitely have to clean up. And sometimes when they clean this thing, where they put the dirt, it is where, sometimes the government is complaining, because you just go and see some chunks of
a very high pile of
yes, they'll just leave it there without,
waste.
So it is not proper. It is not proper for the government to close down the market. I'm very sure it's because, the situation has gone out of hands, and they needed to correct themselves.
And if I can quickly say this, for that woman that's made that statement you just referred to now, that, we leave this place in the evening, before we come in the morning, some people have come, they use the place, and then they mess it up. Now, I think they can also do something like, if they can make a special agreement to get law enforcement agents to arrest those who come to that place. If it's just 2 or 3 of them, to make a scapegoat out of them, so that whoever comes there to use the place and mess it up, to create this kind of problem for them, they'll be able to deal with them. And then it will serve as a warning and a deterrent to others not to do that, because it's wrong. If you are using the place, let's assume that those who are coming to use the place after the owners of the stores use the place come. For those people, it should even make sense that you tidy up the place so that those who own the place will not be angry when they come in the morning. But if they cannot do that, then the owners of the stores should deal with them, in a certain way. The dealing is not to fight or anything. I'm only saying that they should get them arrested through the efforts of the law enforcement agents, and then they should pay for what they are doing.
Okay.
They need to take them to task. Yeah.
We are also pleading, with them,
yes,
that the federal government,
I'm sure
the government,
yes,
the
I'm sure they will
reopen the market for them so that they can be able to sell, their
products. Yeah.
And still talking about bills, somebody mentioned he said it is month end already, and NEPA bills, so many bills will come to you, and you have the tax to pay, you have a lot of things to pay, and that is why some of them don't actually get to pay all that they need to pay that the government is asking.
There are some that are more pressing than the others.
Yes, and when you talk about their bills, they have to settle in the home again, and with the current economic situation in the country, they are also, trying to let the government understand that in as much as they want them to do some things properly, they know that that is the proper way of doing it, but then they also have challenges. They have challenges that they are also facing. So they should come, I think, at this point, they should come to an agreement.
To have a kind of meeting
they should negotiate and see how they are
do.
going to work out this whole situation so that it will be suitable for everyone.
Yes, maybe
so that the government can be pleased with the people, and also the people can be pleased with the government.
I'm sure if they make a firm commitment to government about their, their desire to do the needful, as we say, I'm sure government is going to look into that case.
Of course.
Because government is also, concerned about their plight, I'm sure.
Of course, the government is concerned, definitely. It is their government. Those are the people that they are governing. So it is, in fact, for their good. And I can remember the Lagos State governor, when he said all the people selling at the rail tracks, they should stop doing it.
People
were complaining that is their way of eating, that is the only means of survival and all that. But even if you're going to, have, most of the stops, I noticed it, most of the bus stops we have, you will definitely see, even if it's the traffic, where you see people selling, if you can be coordinated, I don't think anybody will have any problems with you.
Absolutely.
But with time, they have seen how careless people have become. And we have been talking about repairing Nigeria. We have been talking about how to make things work. If we want to make things work, it is not all about the government coming to just be talking about giving us money. It is also to check other things that are not being done rightly.
Especially from your own side, yeah.
If you're going to go and clean, if you're going to go and sell, where you're going to sell, how clean is the place? Because there are people who will not even come to patronize you if they notice that what you're selling is not clean or your environment,
is not clean. Yeah,
so you have to know that what the government is doing is not just for the state, but also for the people.
Yeah, exactly. Because in this particular instance, if the refuse piles up too much, it can lead to a kind of epidemic outbreak. And the government's responsibility is to make sure that such things never happen.
Of
course. That, we don't begin to lose lives and all.
Of course. Talking about losing lives, this is definitely, how many times have you heard about, people being crushed by, the trains on rails? So it is really, really, I don't know, some people were born, they grew up, in that kind of environment, and that is what, they've been doing for a long time.
They are used to it.
They are used to it. In fact, you will see them walking recklessly at that part, at that on the rail part, and you will feel like, are you serious? Like, I can't, sometimes, even if the train is not coming, already in my mind, since when I was growing up, with the way the train, when you see them, they are very fast. When I see a train, or when I see a train track, a rail track, there's a way I look at it, like, before I cross, I hope a train is not coming. So I just wonder how people are very comfortable.
Some even sleep on the rail tracks.
Oh my God. But the government is for your own good, so please
for the safety of your lives
and adhere to whatever the government is talking about, because we know that it is for your own good. And the next story we have is former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Olumide Apata, has declared his intention to contest for the 2024 Edo State governorship election on the platform of the Labour Party. Apapa declared his interest on Thursday, stating that the Labour Party is the only party, people-oriented party. The lawyer turned politician says his interest is to ensure that the people become the major beneficiaries in politics, as people have been taken out of the equation in governance and politics. Apata noted that if allowed to fly the flag of Labour Party in the forthcoming election, he would change the narrative and ensure that the people enjoy the dividends of democracy. I think everybody is actually a politician. It's just it's just a matter of time.
Except me.
People are politicians one way or the other. Do you know, even in the church, they say they are politicians. There are even pastors, they say they are politicians. Yes. A pastor come politician. So it is matter of time before, just
the politics in people come out.
And but the thing is, and he's saying that, when given the opportunity, he's going to, people are going to reap, from the dividends of democracy. He's going to change the narrative. Everybody has, what he comes to say, just for them to get the position they want to get. But at the end of it, if you come, what is your intention? Actually, are you truly called because you want to serve your people, or are you called because you have the opportunity in a platter of gold, or it is maybe a personal interest that is making you want to join, politics?
Yes, let me go back to what Mr. Edward said the other time. In the private school sector, you have so many people, like he said, coming in because of the money. Are you also, maybe you should ask, is that person coming for the money alone, or because you want to come and change the narrative, like this gentleman is?
Well, we hope he is actually coming to change the narrative, as he has said. He is going to come under the umbrella of Labour Party. He said the people-oriented party. Well, we wish him all the best, and we wish Edo State all the best.
Yes, and Nigerians all the best. Because, for me, sorry, let me quickly say this. Before, for any party, as far as I'm concerned, the name of the party may not be a big deal. You know, what matters is, do you have the heart to serve, to really serve? Do you really want to touch people's lives? Do you want to make life better for the people? Do you have one of those elements I said I've noticed in the president? Compassion. For me, that is a very, very important element. So do you have that, regardless of the party you belong to? Very, very important.
But and another thing is, again, is that government or politicians should know that people now know what they really, really want. And the good thing about Nigeria and how, you know, it has been is what they want, they go for it.
Exactly.
Okay? So even in the government, if you don't do well, they can remove you and put another person.
Exactly. It's not about party now, it's about you.
It is not about party, it is about you. What do you have to offer? What do you have to offer
the people, yeah.
Yes, and you mentioned, are you coming, is it the passion that is bringing you to serve people?
Yes.
Or is it the money that is bringing you to serve people?
Is it some other personal?
If it's money, trust me, you have problems with Nigeria when it comes to money. Because when a politician that is out for money, immediately you see him or her in the way they handle their affairs, you will definitely know. And there are people who genuinely, you will see what they are doing, no matter the struggle that people are going through. You will see through them that this person is actually out, you know, to help people live a better life. The condition may not allow it at a proper time, but with time, you will eventually get it right. So please, it is high time politicians know that we are done with the era of coming for money. It is passion. Are you ready to work for your people? Are you ready to work for the betterment of Nigeria? We want Nigeria to be better. And we will keep saying it. And if we want Nigeria to be better, we have to do things the right way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I think by this time we'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back and the discussion continues.
On Alive TV.
Taking a look at events in Nigeria. And now the news in detail.
Look at the number of people he has built.
He has the capacity. And today, a historical reoccurrence is taking place right here in Jos.
You need to be involved in the voting process. Your vote counts.
Government, in spite of its lean resources, is running a welfare program for the most vulnerable in our country. We've never had that before. Welcome back. Nigeria should be competing with countries like
I am Hansi Ada.
Alive News, keeping it fresh.
Teachers are central actors in the learning processes that take place in schools and are powerful tools for improving quality of education through effective classroom experiences. It is believed that motivated teachers complete his or her tasks set up, even if the task is difficult or doesn't seem attractive. Speaking with Alive News, in Lagos, citizens have said that teachers should be celebrated well enough as they are people who instill morals, values, and knowledge in students.
I think we are still not where we ought to be, but we're already out of Egypt on our way to the promised land. Even though we must say that a lot still needs to be desired in terms of teachers' welfare and the appointment of more teachers into the profession. Because one of the major issues that we have within the education sector in Nigeria as of today is this acute shortage of teachers. Because it has been discovered of recent that so many teachers have now joined the Japa train, who are now going to UK and whatever. Those are travel, those are retire. Government is not employing enough to replace all those lost personnel. And that has led to this acute shortage of teachers that is acting as an encumbrance on those that are still remaining within the service. And that is why we use the theme for this year's Teachers' Day to be the teacher we need for the education that we want, because we have discovered that there's an acute shortage of teachers presently within the education sector in the Nigerian geopolitical space.
Yeah, well, Lagos State, they are really trying. They have a lot of programs for us, even including our health plan. They have a lot of programs, and they are still doing more. It can be better, but for now, I think Lagos State is trying for teachers.
Weight of the teacher should be more important. Reason being that those, for someone to be a lawyer, doctor, even to be the governor, is someone that trained that particular person. And what are those returns giving back to those people? Nothing. Most of them are not being able to get their pension on time. Some of them are not able to do some other thing. All what they do is that they come to the class, teach, and that's all.
Well, I don't want to use the word important. It may be considered important and yet not implemented, or maybe one thing or the other still stopping the implementation. So I don't want to judge that it's not important, but I think the welfare of teachers should be paramount.
They should be celebrated more. They should be celebrated more. For instance, apart from giving us that holiday, giving us a break from service, there are things they should teach out to teachers all over, everywhere, so that they can feel, considering other professions, the way they treat them. All I know is teacher deserves more.
Teachers should be valued in this way, as we heard from other countries. Teachers are more celebrated more than this way, and they consider them first in all things. Talk of general welfare, the salary, and every other thing. So they consider them to be important personnel in the community that contribute to the welfare or the growth of the country.
They added that teachers determine the level of education system in the country. Lydia Ajayi, Alive News, Lagos.
You're welcome back. And you know, about the Mohbad's case, the Commissioner of Police has announced, there's going to be a press conference by 3 p.m., today, so that we can also have, updates on the investigation so far.
Carried out so far.
Yeah. It is good that, the government and the police are working to make sure that there's justice
to get down
for this guy, so that at the end of it, industry, entertainment industry, will have, you know, a reset, you know, or a rethink, and whenever they want to say they want to do something that is out of line. And to other people also, let's not talk about only record label now, because it is possible that the record label owners actually didn't do anything to this boy.
It's possible. We will get to know that by the time.
But at the end of it, the entertainment industry is going to have a lesson to take home at the end of it. So let's just wait and see how the investigation or the press conference goes.
Would go, yeah.
You know, and we've been seeing how there's been some arrest here and there. You know, they would arrest this person, take him, ask questions, you know, and all that. So I just pray that at the end of it, the very right person is going to be judged, probably by what his actions.
Then we need to also say this, you know, that when investigations like these are conducted, it simply helps to rekindle the hope of Nigerians in the system, and their faith, it rebuilds the faith of Nigerians in the system that, you know, justice is served. So I believe that the police must have done their job very well, and by the time that press conference holds, you know, things will be sorted out. And I want to believe that this will really help Nigeria to move forward, not only just the entertainment industry, but the entire nation.
The entire
nation.
Have
more confidence in the judicial system
of course.
Of the nation.
All right, another story we have is the fresh communal clash between the residents of Olubo and Ifon communities of Osun State on Thursday, October 5th, 2023, claimed no fewer than 8 lives. It was reported that the casualties were the result of stray bullets fired by security personnel who were deployed to the affected areas in response to the resumption of hostilities. And I can remember you mentioned this story earlier, and this is another update on the story.
Yes, you know, it's quite unfortunate, you know, that communities, you know, would allow the situation to degenerate to that level where lives are being lost. You know, we need to try to be more loving of each other, more tolerant of each other, more, you know, sensitive to each other's issues. You know, because sometimes I believe that what really allows things to get to this level is when people want to, sometimes they feel that they have the edge or they have the power to, you know, oppress the other person, and the person being oppressed does not want to be oppressed, so the person begins to fight. So please, let's always consider the fact that, I mean, try to put ourselves in the shoes of other people, you know, because basically there is that, you know, spiritual law that says, do unto others exactly what you would want them to do to you. So please, let's try to be more tolerant so that we'll not be having this kind of losses. The lives that have been lost can never come back now. They cannot be, you know, regained or recouped. So, and every life is valuable. So if we can just think about that, I believe communities should try and live in peace with each other. Very
of course, and that is why we are community. It is a community.
It's called a community, yes.
It is called a community. We live together. We have to tolerate one another.
Yes.
And of course, I understand they are from different communities.
Yes, 2 communities.
You have a hand. So you know this community has its rules, regulation, that has its rules, regulation. Coming together, you definitely have differences. But it is for you to sit and iron things out.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have community leaders who can come together and iron things out. It is not left for the people to just come on the street and start attacking one another. See now, and you know, when you hear a figure
sometimes
on the news,
it
is not. So you see, if you say 8 people, probably more than 8 people have gone now. So it is not nice. Okay, we are community. Let's live in peace. Let's live in harmony. We are Nigerians. We've been talking about Nigeria just clocked 63 just when, and we've been talking about. In fact, our voices are beginning to go off now. We've been talking about how we should be loving. You talked about being tolerant. Like it is something we really need to keep talking. And another thing again is, let our community leaders actually go on radios, television, you know, do seminars, do programs, you know, to talk about peaceful coexistence.
Let's
talk about how we can tolerate each other. It is not easy. to tolerate a person, not to talk about tolerating people.
Several people.
You understand? We understand that, but there is a way out. At the end, there's a way out. Either you like it or not, as a person, you have to look for a way to exist amongst other people.
Yes.
So we really, even after killing these people, what have you actually achieved?
There's nothing gained. Nothing gained.
It is more chaos again, because trust me, if the other community, probably the people that were killed are more from the other community.
From a particular community.
They will be like, no, I'm not going to take it until we retaliate. It is now going to become a different case. Security personnel were the ones who had the weapons, and then they were the ones who shot the guns. It was a stray bullet, they say. It happened by mistake. But these communities, I am sure by now, they are not going to say like that. They are going to see it as
point of view it's the
our people are more, you know, on this thing. So what are we going to do? Because we really need to retaliate. But it doesn't have to end that way.
Yeah, this one is very important, Tante. The issue of our police at this age and time still using live bullets. I think the police authorities should try and look into that. For so many years, this has been the reason why Nigeria has lost so many valuable citizens, simply because the police has not, taken a step to that level where if you want to quell an uprising, in the community, you can use rubber bullets.
What about tear gas?
Tear gas, I think, please, the police should also do something about that. It's not good enough that our police at this age and time will be doing that. Not good enough at all.
Of course, there are other ways we can help. You went there as a police. You went there to try and make peace. It is not to cause more chaos now. And just the way I said it, it is possible that these people will feel like there are people who are more affected in this thing, and they are not going to take it. And this is not from the other community. It is not their own. Of course, they were fighting. They were having issues, but it wasn't like the report wasn't that they killed themselves. It was the security personnel. So please, through the security personnel, try and find other means of settling issues instead of using live bullets.
It's not good enough at this point.
8 people. What happened when the first person died? What happened when the second person died? So I think having 8 people died out of stray bullets, I actually feel like I will have to also, read more to understand more on what really happened. Stray bullets, 8 people, well, that is all I have to say on this matter. Fafi, what do you have to say before we leave the studio?
Well, we have to keep on encouraging each other. Today is Friday, like Tante said when we started. We thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, so thank God it's Friday.
Please just do the best you can to stay alive, because we still want to see you next time we come here.
Of course, because we are alive, we always also want you to stay alive. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. Please be a patriotic Nigerian, okay? Try and help when you see people in need. Try to do the right thing. It will not kill you. Trust me, it will make you stronger. Because you are empowering someone, it is going to empower you the more, okay? It's because you have it, and that is why you're empowering someone. So make sure you do the right thing as a citizen of Nigeria. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.